All right, so welcome to Healthy Holidays. Navigate the holiday season like a boss with no regrets. Hold on, there's my dog. Apologies. All right, so it's navigate the holiday season without regrets. And so basically the holiday season is officially here, and for many, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's also a time marked by a lot of temptation, and it's a temptation to indulge and overindulge in foods and drinks that are really not always the healthiest. And it puts our healthy eating momentum and practices and results into jeopardy a lot of the time. So I'm Agathe. I am director of Fueled Bermuda and also integrative nutrition health coach and author, health food book author, and private health food chef, all of that. And so I'm here just to really share some hacks, some tips, some really great ideas and tricks on how to navigate this season without any regret. I have been doing this for years. I definitely struggled in the past, and I think a lot of us have and do. So why not arm yourself with some tips and tricks before you go into it? So there was, some of these were published in the Royal Gazette earlier this week. And this is an expanded version, and it has a lot of my passion and everything added into it so that you can really sort of hear and understand what I'm trying to say when I am giving these healthy tips for the holidays. Okay, so without further ado, we'll just dive right in. So tip number one, it's eat a fueled or nutrient loaded breakfast. So this was in the Royal Gazette, and this is the expanded version. So a lot of times I have clients come to me saying that they want to save their calories for a later date. They want to, sorry, not a later date, but for later in the day, so that they kind of like starve themselves, or they really don't eat very much. They start fasting before they go out to a feast or to a dinner or to a party, because they know there's going to be a lot to eat down at the end of the day. And they skip meals and different things like that. So that actually wreaks havoc on our metabolism, blood sugar levels, and our waistline. So it seems like it might be a smart idea, but it's really not. So it's commonly used, and but definitely not recommended. So what happens is you end up overindulging often on very unhealthy foods, which you wouldn't have done if you ate earlier throughout the day. So one of the things that happens is you arrive at the party or the dinner not only hungry because you've saved the calories and whatever, but you could be hangry, you could be irritable, but you're not only sort of empty in your stomach, you also haven't had your vitamin C for the day. You also haven't had your iron for the day. You also haven't had calcium for the day. You haven't had your minerals. You haven't had your vitamins. You haven't had any antioxidants. You haven't had any omega-3s. You're arriving depleted to the party or the dinner or all of that kind of stuff, So it's really not a strong place in your body overall, your entire physiology. It's not a really strong place to be arriving at a party like that. You think you're just saving on calories by fasting throughout the day. And I know at least 3 people personally who do this. And one of them is my mom. And so it also wreaks havoc on our metabolism. So if we miss eating throughout the day, when our body sends us signals, pardon me, massive tickle in my throat. When our body sends us signals to eat and we pass by those signals, what actually happens is our body goes into like low power mode, which is lowered metabolism. Pardon me. So it actually, like, just like your phone, when it's on low power mode, it has to turn off certain functions, like won't run anything in the background, won't do anything of this, forget your notifications, the brightness has gone down. So literally our brightness goes down too. And so we actually start to run in sort of like a lowered metabolic state, because your body's like, we had these calories from yesterday, you have fed us nothing yet. And you want us to continue on through the day. And how is that supposed to be? Right? So in order for me to like keep this body alive, we have to go into low power mode. And that's how you're showing up to that party. If you save your calories for later, miss your meals, skip your meals. So it's wreaking havoc on your metabolism. So it's yeah, and then you get there overindulged. Not only are some people antisocial when they arrive then, right? Because they're like, they show up and they're just all about the food. We're not eating yet, like we're gonna eat in 1 hour, because often when you arrive somewhere, they hand you a cocktail, you might have an appetizer, you sort of mingle and mix and stuff like that. Maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours later, the dinner is served, maybe 3 hours later, so it's really hard to rely on that meal when you are in control of that meal. Also, you don't know when it's coming out, right? So I've seen people where they're just really, there's antisocial, shut down. And that's not a really strong place to be. You're depleted, right? So you're not only hungry, you're depleted. And so right, so I'm just going to go to my notes here for 1 second. So it leads to overindulging on unhealthy foods. It compromises our optimal health and body comp goals. And late in the day is often when we're having this meal with just a few hours before we're about to go to sleep. So sleep, again, is a lowered metabolic phase of the day. Your metabolism goes down because it doesn't need to be doing that much during your sleep phase, right? So you kind of like fill up on all these calories and all this food at the end of the day with, kind of like massive nourishment. And then soon after you're going to go to sleep on it, right? So versus if we ate at regular times of the day, like when we normally would eat in the morning, at lunchtime, maybe have a mid-afternoon snack. And especially if we eat healthy fats, healthy proteins, and fiber. During those main meals, we arrived somewhere not depleted, not starving, not desperate, not antisocial, not hangry, not spaced out. Do you know what I mean? So we're not kind of like waiting for that food to arrive on the table. So those healthy fats include like avocados, coconut oil, walnuts, fatty fish, flaxseed oil, things like that. Fiber is plant foods, broccoli, carrots, beans, collards, cauliflower, apples, things like that. Healthy sources of protein are walnuts, almonds, beans, lentils, hemp seeds, hummus, grass-fed meats, wild caught fish, and things like that. So when we fill up on those foods, those three food groups, not food groups rather, but those three type of nutrient groups in the daytime during our regular meal times before we head out to the party, they will keep our blood sugar steady. They will keep our nutrient intake optimized. So we are actually at an optimal place nutrition-wise, and they will keep our cravings at bay. So that is so important. And if you're a bit hungry before the party, so you've had your main meals and you're just about to head out to the party, but you're a little bit hungry before the party, I would still say have a bite to eat, have a little bit of your, the lunch that you had, or have a salad, or have something more substantial, but don't go to this party hungry. Don't go to the dinner hungry. That would be a big recommendation of mine. And I know it sounds incredible. How could somebody do that? Going to a dinner, our point is to eat. And why would I eat in advance? So that's the reason. When you show up hungry, you're also nutrients deprived, you're deficient in nutrients, and you don't have all that going on. So you could feel a bit drained and depleted. Okay, so that's it pretty much. The first one, eat a fueled, nutrient-loaded breakfast and lunch. Do not arrive hungry to the party. Second one is kind of a playful one. It's hold your drink in your dominant hand. So a lot of the time we are at an event and there's those floating appetizers and all the trays are like floating around, around the room, and you're so tempted to eat them. And they're these little things that have like, creams and dips and sauces and all the little things. They're not usually like great nutritionally, like full of nutrients, and they're not usually the highest quality of ingredients. Depends on where they've sourced them from, but it's not always the highest quality of ingredients. But they are also loaded with calories. So if it's something that we want to cut down on, if eating those little nibbles and those little bites and those appies are an issue, I would say here's a little trick: hold your drink in your dominant hand. Now, I doubt you'll be having an owl mug when you get there, but if you're drinking a wine, if you have a champagne, if you have a glass of water, if you have a juice, if you have a non-alcoholic beverage, whatever it is, hold it in your dominant hand. I'm right-handed. This is my dominant hand right here. So I would say if you hold on to things with your dominant hand, that leaves only your less capable hand to do all of the nibbling and picking on things and all of those little things. So it actually can be quite hard, unless you're super ambidextrous and can really rock both hands. It's hard to pick things up with your non-dominant hand, place it in your mouth, put it in a dipping sauce before you place it in your mouth, and then put it, it can be a little bit less elegant. You can give up a lot faster. There are so many things that can go wrong if you are using your non-dominant hand. So I'm left-handed, it's actually pretty hard. So that makes it much harder. It makes it more frustrating, and it makes it potentially less elegant. So you will give up faster. So if those are an issue, try keeping your right hand busy with a drink in hand, not to guzzle, but just to have a drink in hand. If the drinks are a problem, use that for your non-capable hand. So if you're worried you're going to like slam back a whole bunch of wine, make sure you put it in your less capable hand and just drink slowly. Another thing regarding just like picking at foods that are, they're maybe not floating around, but if there's a dessert area and everything is on a dessert area, yeah, thank you. That's a really great, thank you so much. Yeah, you will consume less calories. And you slow yourself down. You actually have to be more mindful when you take things with your non-dominant hand. Being mindful actually changes the game in such a way. You have to actually experience it to sort of really realize, because we can do things mindlessly with our dominant hand. You could just keep picking things up and just shoving it into your mouth. People say that they finished a bag of chips. How did it happen? Try doing it with your non-dominant hand. So yeah, another thing is regarding that is if you're try not to have conversations near a table that is loaded with little appetizers, or a table that is loaded with like desserts and stuff like that. Because if you're too close to that table, again, it's just so tempting to pick up the little 1-bite, 2-bite brownies, or a little tiny piece of cheesecake, or whatever they have little bites of. If you're close to it and having a conversation, again, you might mindlessly sort of start to pick in things and put them in your mouth. I would steer away from having conversations that are a little bit longer near those tables. I would just move away from them. Number 3, if you absolutely have to have it, savor it slowly for 2 whole bites and then leave the rest. So this is not in regards to your main meal. So if you are going to have a main meal and you're choosing something healthy, like a nice cut of protein that you think is a healthier choice, like an organic or grass-fed, I'm not sure what's going on at the party you're at or the dinner that you're at, but or a fish or a seafood or something like that, or a vegetarian protein, a plant protein. If you are going to have your main meal there, then you choose some healthy choices. That's fantastic. But if there's always those tempting things that you want to really indulge in, you already, have had your healthy food, and then, they bring out like pumpkin pie or cannoli, or a whole bunch of cookies with a whole bunch of decorations on them, or cupcakes or something like that, right? So you're kind of like, oh, that's my thing. Oh, it's so good, right? Or the hostess brings out something new, or the host brings out something new that you've not tried before. You're kind of curious. You're wondering, oh, that looks really, really good, but I've never tried that before. So how does that taste, right? But it's not really necessarily healthy looking, or there's a gingerbread cake or something like that, right? So my tip on that is we get the most pleasure for the first 2 bites of anything we eat. If you can imagine a cheesecake, okay? You take the first bite of the cheesecake and you get the moisture, you get the texture, you get the creaminess, you get the tart with the sweet, you get all of that in the first bite. Then you take the second bite and still get all of that. By the third bite, by the fourth bite, it's really just the same thing again and again and again. We have sort of like a decrease in pleasure with the, sorry for not helping. We have a decrease in pleasure from after the first 2 bites. So there was a woman named Murray, and I can't remember her last name, but she wrote a book, and she basically said in the book that because she was an executive, right, for Veuve Clicquot, and as her job, she had to go from like a 3-course dinner to a 3-course lunch to a 5-course dinner, the next day another 3-course lunch to a 5-course dinner, and then another 4-course lunch to a 3-course. It's constantly eating out and eating out and eating out. In order to manage that, she really honed in on the pleasure of the first 2 bites. So that pleasure that's found in the first 2 bites is so important because it teaches us how much we need and what we don't need. Okay, so we can actually enjoy everything that our heart desires, as long as you really desire it to like a number 10, I would say, 10 out of 10, like, ooh, I must have that a piece of gingerbread house, or I must have, some, what would it be? Goodness, like one of those logs, those chocolate Yule logs, or something. I don't know what it would be for different people. But the first 2 bites, you can take big bites if you want. They matter the most. So make the most out of them. Be mindful. Then I would actually stop, put it aside, and don't finish the rest. Share it with your spouse, share it with your partner, share it with a friend that you're close to if you wish, or put it aside and just don't finish it. By the end of the holiday season, you'll look back and you'll really feel like, wow, I tasted all of the holiday flavors and enjoyed them. But if you were to pile it all up, party after party, dinner after dinner, feast after feast, and then you were to cut it down the middle and sort of say, well, I didn't eat half of all of it, this huge, pile of stuff that you kind of tossed the rest out, or shared, or whatever it was you did with the other half that you didn't consume it, it really, really, really makes a difference by January 1st. Huge difference, big difference. So really think about savoring those first 2 bites of something that is extra special. I would really, really think about doing that, and leaving the rest, knowing that I've enjoyed that and I'm good. So let me just go back to my notes. Slowly, mindfully, with intention, enjoy the pleasure of our favorite holiday indulgence, or from something new. And we know these things might not show up for another 12 months. And so, we've got joining. We know that these things may not show up for another 12 months, but it will not have that much of an impact if you really savor and enjoy the first 2 bites of those extra special goodies. All right. The next one, number 4. This one sounds kind of boring and what you might expect to hear me say, but I'm going to really say it anyway. So stay hydrated, drink plenty of water. So we will actually eat less. We will keep our digestive tract primed and regular, and feel much more energized when we remember to stay hydrated. With plenty of water, with plenty of water throughout the holiday season. Just want to welcome the new person who's joined us. This will put us in the best state and prevent us from feeling drained and depleted, so that we make better decisions at the holiday dinner table. So much of the times we are actually dehydrated and not hungry, or much of the times we are depleted and we don't really need food to give us that energy so much as we need to hydrate. So if you remember, like from tip number 1, to really stay nourished and have that really nourishing, fueled, nutrient dense meals throughout the day, and you stay hydrated, so your water levels are like super happy, and you've really got that feeling of, I've got energy, I'm totally fueled, like nutrient loaded, I have hydrated, I am not drained, I am not depleted. You show up at your best state. You arrive ready to like really, really, really crush it. Is it possible to overdo it on the water? Yeah, potentially it is. There's such thing as water intoxication. I've never had it before, so you can really go quite far with water without getting there. The key I'd say would be to check your urine levels. Your color of your urine. You could say there's rules about like 8 glasses of water, or take, your weight and you times it by a certain factor, and then you sort of divide it up, and that's how many glasses of water you need every day. I would say that we have sort of like an indicator, like a bio indicator. That's our urine color. Check your urine. If you have any tinge of yellow, shade of yellow, or if you're going into orange, you are dehydrated. You want clear urine, and that's how you know when, we got another one. That's when you know you're fully hydrated, is when it's clear. So I would say keep going until you get that clear. And then again, you arrive to the party, you arrive to the dinner, hydrated, nourished, fueled, nutrient loaded, like you're really feeling great. So again, you arrive in your best state, you make better decisions in your best state. Hi.
Hi there.
Hi there. You make better decisions in your best state, and there's just so much that happens when you arrive from literally alignment and nourishment it's so totally different when you arrive in a hungry state of desperation or drained or headachy from not having enough water during the day. So it is actually super important. And then, okay, my next one, number 5 tip for, really crushing the holidays like a pro and, really navigating it without regrets would be forget the food. I know that's bold for me to say. And focus on the people, the ambiance, the conversations, the memories, taking photos, and your outfit instead. So this idea is actually because since, let's say, we all ate healthfully all day, we're not showing up to the party in a desperate state of, in a hungry state of desperation, in a drained state of dehydration. So we ate well, we're nourished, we're fueled, we've had enough water, we're hydrated. So we can now shift our focus. Just like I said, continuing from what I just said, we are arriving at our best state. We can shift our focus from I'm starving, I need to eat, when is that dinner being served? Shoving all these appies in our mouth or whatever. And remember to hold your drink in your dominant hand so that your less dominant hand can try to navigate those trays elegantly with your less dominant hand. I challenge you. So yeah, so now you're arriving fully fueled. So you can actually shift your focus. There's so much more to Christmas parties, Christmas dinner, to all of the things that happen in this holiday season, from your work things to your personal things to little get-togethers. There's so much going on that is beyond the food piece. So if you have actually starved yourself during the day to get to this party in a hungry state and save your calories and skip your meals or whatever, you actually aren't really able to fully it doesn't impress upon you. Like, you aren't usually in a state to like be able to appreciate all of that. Like, wow, the decorations are beautiful in your house today. Or you compliment the host or hostess on how, how lovely everyone looks in the festive holiday attire, or something about the food that smells so lovely, or just how, there's so many things to appreciate. Christmas is like a special kind of glowy ambiance that only happens at Christmas time. It doesn't happen at New Year's. New Year's is kind of like colder. I love New Year's, but it's colder, it's cooler. It's like a silver and like blue and stuff like that. It's not like a warm red and like velvet and furry white gingerbread cookies. So there's an ambiance. It doesn't happen even on my birthday. It doesn't happen on our birthdays. It doesn't happen at New Year's. It doesn't happen at Easter. It's specific to Christmas. There's carols, there's music, there's services in church. There's so much going on during these holidays. They go beyond the food. So the focus can be taken off of the food if you just allow yourself to shift perspective. The moment we shift our perspective, the world changes. And so that's something that I highly recommend. It's something that I totally practice. And I'm actually very conscious and mindful and aware of that. And it makes every event so much better. What am I going to wear for this holiday festive? I'm wearing red. Am I wearing gold? Am I wearing green? Am I wearing white? What is everyone else wearing? How, who am I going to see here? What type of decorations will be up? How will the house be decorated? Will there be scented candles? There's so much that you can really notice with all of your senses that can be appreciated in such a beautiful way that is completely nothing to do with food. So when you arrive fully fueled, you can focus fully on that. And it's nourishing. It's so nourishing. You will remember these parties more. I believe you will. When you take note and say, wow, I love your brooch that somebody wore, or little like snowflake earrings that dangle and sparkle. And, you could take selfies together and see that you make memories and you have these conversations and you have these connections and all of this stuff that happens that you don't really, it's so special and unique to this time of year. It's so much to fill up on, mind, body, and soul. I would say fill up on that. It actually nourishes us, like I said, and we are less likely to overindulge on food and on wine and mulled wine and beer and alcohol and whatever, when we appreciate every aspect. And, it's nice to pay compliments to the host or the hostess or to your company or whoever's throwing the party, maybe the hotel, if you see somebody from catering, just how beautiful everything looks and how special it is and how everything, it's nice to pay those compliments too. I'm always mindful about doing that as well. It sort of vocalizes your appreciation and your ability to step away from like, ooh, food and drink to, the whole scene, the whole party, everything that's available to you here at this event. So that's what I mean. So here it says, we are nourished by much more than food. The holidays are filled with warm hugs, beautiful people dressed in their best, happy holiday energy, and cheerful and comforting, glowy ambiance that really only happens once a year. So be present and fill up on it. And that is something that, like, when I mentioned those 3 people who save their calories and skip meals to the end of the day when they're going to be at dinner, they never have appreciated that. I see it all. It's like, when the food's not being served yet. They sit on the side. So I would really expand your life, expand your vision of the party, expand your vision of the experience. And actually, I get this. I practice this so much. When I moved to Bermuda, I had a heart arrhythmia that was very scary, and I thought my heart would stop. And I was recommended, or rather, I chose to quit a whole bunch of things that weren't healthy for me and would really trigger my heart to beat very irregularly. One of them was alcohol. I moved to Bermuda, and so many events were like wrapped up rosé and all of this and all of this. You'd pay $120 for a party, and I would never drink because I had the heart arrhythmia, right? So my friends would say, "Well, it's a rosé party. Why do you want to come? Like, you're going to pay full price. They're not going to give you a deal because you're going to say you're not going to drink anything, right?" And like, I wouldn't, but they're like, "Oh, I'm sure they've heard that before." You don't get a discount for not drinking any of the rosé. You don't get a discount for not drinking any of the fancy champagne. You don't get a discount on any of that. So my experience for years and years and years was like, I'm still paying full price for the party and I'm really enjoying myself. So that's how I learned to really train myself to like, that's not really a part of it for me. That's really an important part. So if you can just imagine, right, how my friends and how people were like, "I don't know why you're coming. Should we even invite you?" Agatha doesn't drink. But it really is so much more to enjoy. You're standing at like the Lauren, or you're at the Hamilton Princess Marina, and the sun is setting and the people are dancing and the conversations are wonderful. And everyone is like really, pre-COVID, bubbly and this and that, right? So it's like a whole thing. We got one more. It's a whole thing to enjoy something other than what a lot of other people are really there for. So that's where I got this from. And you can apply it to holiday season. You can apply it to summer boating season, drinking season, whatever season you're in. That, you don't want to overindulge in that, but you want to be social. There is so much more to see and do. Fill up on that. It nourishes you. It nourishes our soul. It nourishes so much. You can leave with photos, you can leave with memories because you remembered the whole thing. So you know how the holidays go. Anyways, be present. Number 6, be the person who brings the healthy food. Hi. All right, be the person who brings the healthy food. Literally, you never know what people will be serving at these parties. You're not too sure what's going to be brought out. You might know, but you might not. Maybe you're not really interested in actually overindulging. You really want to like keep up your momentum and staying healthy and stuff like that. So I'm just like, I'm the person who brings the healthy food. I will also eat what everyone else is having. If there's something nice that I really think looks good, if someone made like a fish dish or something like that, okay. Be the person who brings the healthy food, then you can guarantee that you've got something that you will enjoy. And also, trust me, people will be grateful for you. It's not actually what everyone wants is all of the like gingerbread cookies. I'm just going to mute some of the people who've arrived. Oh, it's all muted. Okay, fantastic. Great. Thanks. All right, guys. So we're talking about healthy holidays, how to navigate the holidays like a pro, without any regrets at the end. So we've run through a whole bunch of stuff. I have recorded this. I am recording, guys. So if you want, I can send you the recording after so you can catch the whole thing. But we are at number 6, I think, which is be the person who brings the healthy food. You will be glad to have something there in case it's all something that you're not really into. And other people will be happy for it too. Trust me. I coach a lot of people. They do say like, somebody brought collard greens, or somebody brought Brussels sprouts done in like balsamic vinaigrette, or somebody brought, gluten-free carrot cake. Somebody brought this or somebody brought that. So it's really great. All right, number 7, check in with yourself. This one's getting deep. So we talked about some silly ones like holding your drink in your dominant hand. You probably won't have an Alma, but whatever. If you're having champagne or wine or mulled wine or something with rum, hold it in your right hand. And then so that you can, pick up tempting, not nutritious, calorie loaded appetizers floating around with your less dominant hand. And good luck with that. So that was one of the outside of the box kind of ones we discussed, because you'll likely quit if you're left-handed, or if your left hand is as not capable as mine. So, okay, this one is a lot deeper than something like holding your drink in your right hand so that you can't do very successfully stuffing your mouth with your other hand. Check in with yourself. If you feel, I'm just going to read this one, guys, because it's quite deep and I want to not miss out what I wrote. I put my notes down here. If you feel out of alignment in any way at the beginning of December, do not push that aside. Or even now, we're still, there are some days to go with holiday season. If you don't feel in alignment, and I will discuss what that is in just a second, don't push it aside. Okay, this one's called check in with yourself. So, are your finances stressing you out? Is your relationship on the rocks? Does your job make you want to jump ship? Whatever it could be, family, a divorce, oh my gosh, co-parenting with someone who's difficult during this time, maybe in-laws. There may be so many things stressing you out. It could be finances. This is a very financially stressful time. It could be a death of a loved one. And this is the first time that you've really had Christmas since a loved one passed. I know so many people in that situation right now. Some people have actually left the island or pretty much from the island to take a holiday elsewhere, just to have a different sort of set of surroundings during this holiday season. In that case, so they've checked in with themselves. Sorry, just reading the comment. Glad you guys know each other. All right, so like I said, does your job want to make you jump ship? Walking into parties filled with the temptation to overeat or overdrink, whilst having some key areas of your life out of balance and not in the best place, is not a great idea. So do an honest self-assessment and take inventory of every area of your life that is less than satisfying or not nourishing you right now. Being dissatisfied with a relationship, could be mom and dad relationship, could be relationship with your siblings, could be with your children, could be with your cousins, could be with your in-laws, could be with, could be a lot of people. Just your relationships, having an inappropriate exercise routine, too much, too little, or the wrong type, being bored, feeling stressed, having a messy home, even when you go home and you're just like, oh, I can't deal with this. Being unsatisfied in a job or lacking a spiritual practice can all contribute to eating or drinking for reasons other than fueling your body. I know we've all experienced this. I've certainly experienced this myself. Eating and drinking can be used to fill the nourishment void. I call it a nourishment void, as quite a maladaptive coping mechanism, big word, therapy word, where much healthier, entirely more fun, and life-expanding ways to tackle those gaps exist and can be sought out. So again, this one is checking in with yourself. So what area of my life? I actually have this really beautiful activity. It's called the Circle of Life, and it has like suggested areas of your life, and you can rate yourself, self-assess yourself up to 10, and it fills out like either like maybe like a kite if you got some areas that aren't as filled out, and you can immediately see at a glance, okay, finances are stressing me out. Okay, I haven't exercised at all, right? There are different things, and not exercising can sometimes make you feel tired and drained, and or over exercising could also make you tired and drained. And so you might drink alcohol or cans of caffeinated pop or soda to boost you up, because you actually have an imbalance there. So check in with yourself. It's usually relationships around this time of year, finances around this time of year, deaths around this time of year. It isn't always the merriest time for everybody. That it's the onus is on us as adults, to actually check in. We're responsible for the energy that we bring into a situation, right? So check in with ourselves, because we might overindulge on food, on unhealthy food, on alcohol, because something is off, and that could just be a signal. We can sort of start to sort of decode that, but we would rather sort of not work backwards in decoding when you've already got sort of stuck with yourself and when you have regrets, right? So you check in early on. I know, oh my goodness, I tried to break up with this guy one time, and it was the holiday season, And I thought, oh, I'll just wait till the end of Christmas because who does this at this time of year, right? Wow, was that a horrible Christmas? So, you just kind of just like keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Checking with yourself, what could possibly be a stressor? And could you end up acting out on that when you arrive to a party with all these overindulging things? I'm not going to hammer that anymore. It's really important. A lot of that stuff comes down to these nourishment gaps. Oh, if you find out what it is, see if there's any way that you can, maybe talk to a therapist, maybe reach out to a health coach, and we can work on ways to like nourish yourself again in ways other than food and drink to expand your life, expand your satisfaction, expand your fulfillment in the areas in which you have a gap. We all have these gaps. This is, definitely coached enough to really see that this is part of the human experience. We're not all just like thriving in every single area of this circle of life, of the wheel of wellness. So it's okay, but find it, right? If it's finances, what can you do so that you don't show up and then have regrets about food or regrets about alcohol or whatever? Really important, really important. This is integrative nutrition now, looking at all other areas of your life, because food isn't usually a problem on its own. It's, what's going on when you're reaching out too much to the sugar? Yeah. So stuff like that happens. Okay. That was 7. Number 8. These ones get kind of serious. 8, and that's our last one actually. And it really plays on very much from what we just talked about. So this one is cravings are not the enemy. Tune into your body so that you can hear what it's telling you. There's a book called Crack the Code on Cravings, What Your Cravings Really Mean. Again, this goes back to what I just said. Cravings indicate imbalances in the body and are actually incredibly helpful in guiding you to ideal health, kind of like a smoke alarm. Let me see. Right. So in the West, like in North America and Bermuda, in countries like in the West, we normally have this dialogue around appetite and cravings, like bad you need to take like a tea or a pill or an injection. We need to get that appetite down. Your appetite's out of control. And you feel like my appetite's out of control. What am I going to do? I need to have less of an appetite. I just wish I didn't have such a big appetite. And it's a big like bad you. I take a different approach. I think, okay, there was a big snack accident and we need to decode that. What happened there, right? So it's just something that is a clue. It's a clue. You don't have to beat yourself up over it. It's a clue. It's a clue you can decode, and you can go backwards to sort of realize, again, going back to the wheel of wellness or the circle of life, the different areas of your life, where are we not nourished? Okay, because I'm telling you, you can take these pills for appetite suppressant, you can take these teas for appetite suppressants. It doesn't get, it's a band-aid, okay? You're not going to get to the root of the problem, the root, the source thing. And when you get to that root, it's the most beautiful thing. It's painful a little bit, but it's the most beautiful thing, because once you identify it, you can actually, when you know what it is, and sometimes it's really simple. It can literally be, I coach this guy, he was dehydrated all day. He worked at a law firm. He was dehydrated all day. And then he would always go to Miles and go get the double, triple chocolate explosion brownie Haagen-Dazs thing. And he's just like, I'm addicted to this double, triple chocolate explosion brownie. I can't remember what it's called, but it was at Miles. And if it was sold out, because he probably would have bought them out, he was really upset about it. And he just thought, I just must be because, he didn't have a spouse or a partner at home. He was living by himself, felt kind of alone. Work was very demanding at the law firm. The air was very dehydrating. And we found out actually that he wasn't actually drinking enough water. It could be just that you think that there's something really, really, really big that's wrong. And we can look at those things too. Sometimes it's going back to, am I hydrated? Once he got fully hydrated throughout the day, instead of drinking coffee and stuff, drinking water, drinking actually even juices and stuff, pressed vegetable juices, felt better. You don't feel depleted and like you need to hit sugar. So again, this goes back to what I was saying, being nourished before you arrive somewhere, actually like fueled on nutrients, fueled on water, because then you can cross those out. Those are definitely not the problem. What is it? What's going on? What is my craving telling me? So it could be my job is, really stressing me out. It could be my partner is really stressing me out. So when you have those cravings that are continual, or you're like, why am I feeling like I need to drink so much wine at this event? It's a clue. And we want to decode those clues to find out really what's going on with us. Because from that point, we can beautifully expand our life. We can, with the expansion of our life and nourishment in the areas in which we don't have so much nourishment, I mean, your life, it's life expanding. It's so much better than taking some kind of a pill for appetite suppressing. Okay. It takes a little bit more work, but I mean, you're pretty much going to be set for life once you figure out what that is and how you can nourish yourself in that area. Is it a spiritual practice? Is it, something with your finances? Is it something with exercise? Is it can be more nourished with your relationships? Do you need to reach out to somebody and forgive them or talk to them or something like that, right? What's going on? Yeah, so that's basically it. Cravings are not the enemy is the last one. Tune into your body so you can hear what it's telling you, because you truly deserve to be nourished, mind, body, and soul. So I covered pretty much all of those areas, mind, body, and soul. And there are some funny ones and there's some serious ones, and then, some jokes about my mom. So she won't get the recording. But yeah, so yeah, again, that's pretty much it. We have a few minutes now to answer any questions. If you have any particular challenges, if you want to unmute yourself and share, or if there's a particular takeaway, we've got some time. We've got about 10 minutes for a bit of discussion, which I love. So if you have any takeaways from what I said, something that stands out to you is like an aha moment, big or small, that you might not have thought about before. I had some in the comment section already that were posted in the chat box. So that was kind of cool. Little, comments about the analogies that were pretty cool about the battery of your cell phone depleting. It's what happens when you skip meals and save your calories for later, that you don't actually, your body's not running fully functioning anymore. It's, you have to sort of, how your phone goes into, turn off the background data and turn this kind of stuff off and turn that kind of stuff off. That's what happens when you start to not actually nourish yourself and save your calories for a later time. Not a great plan. So there's a couple of comments there. If there's any takeaways for you, unmute yourself and share. That's what we're here for, what I'm here for too. Or if there's any questions you have about a particular challenge or questions about what I've presented, we have 8 tips there to really like navigate the holidays. I'm open to whatever you guys want to talk about.
Hi. Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for doing this and giving us some tips and tricks, as you said earlier, on how to navigate the holidays, because it is stressful sometimes just thinking about it. It's like, wow, there's temptation everywhere. How do I control myself? So that was really, really great. What I'd like to know is, would the holidays be a good time to maybe kind of transition before New Year's? And if so, can you give some advice on that, to maybe change your lifestyle? You might have the opportunity, to try new things by going around and everything, or would you recommend just kind of cold turkey, fresh start in the new year, and come to see somebody like yourself and get started that way?
That's a great question. And I would say, you don't need a new year. You don't need a new year to start something. You just need a new moment. So to me, I would say, if you're ready for feeling your best and really feeling like leveling up your life, especially with your physical body, because it is the foundation of so much of the rest of our lives. Our friendships are affected with our physical body, our emotions, our careers, if we have energy, if we feel depleted. Sometimes people just need a detox and then they're going to feel a lot better, emotionally. And so I would say you just need a new moment. I would say when you're ready to start, I would say go ahead and get started. The holidays are a great time. You know why? Because you actually tend to have more time off in the holidays. Like you're not at work, so you might actually be able to implement a few new things. I have clients who are off now from like today till the 13th of January or the 5th of January. And yes, it is a busy season, but it might be a good time to sort of start, even like doing like a little I Spy game when you go to a party. I have this little game. It's called I Spy with My Smart Eye. It's like, little kids and I Spy, the I Spy game. And then how does the kids one go? I Spy with My Little Eye. Yeah. and then something that is red, and then you kind of find what it is, right? And so I have a nephew, we do that a lot. So I have a game when you go to, a party, you can sort of, if you're really starting to sort of see things differently and sort of take a new perspective on things, right? You can sort of, I spy with my smart eye, collard greens, a shrimp dish, a fish dish, loads of like roasted mushrooms, start to see the things that you might have not seen before. That might be a good place to start for the holidays, because sometimes it's like, whoa, pumpkin cheesecake and gingerbread houses and eggnog. And, it's like you see all the kind of all the stuff that is unique to the season. And like I said, those first 2 bites, they make a huge difference. So if you really want to indulge, 2 bites, maybe just try practicing some of these things and see it differently, right? If there's something, and tune into your body. There, I've got it. For the holidays, a good place to start, instead of going cold turkey, and doing everything in the holidays, is a good place to start seeing things differently. See the vegetables, see the meat, see the seafood, see the healthy stuff, like really see it. To really, really, really check in with yourself, tune into your body, really see, even then starting with me, if someone were to start with me in the new year and they came with like some notes, Agatha, I was at this event, I drank so much wine, I don't remember the end of the event, it was like my work party or whatever. And I don't really, I looked back into that, and do you know what? I'm not okay with X, Y, and Z in my life. And I say, wow, okay, great. So tune into yourself, like what's going on, or even say, I don't know why, but I just couldn't stop eating the brownies, or, notice, like be mindful, notice, be present. I would say that that's a really good thing to start doing during the holidays. So see things, be present with yourself, tune into your body, and enjoy everything. May this be the year that you actually see all the decorations and see all the beautiful outfits and enjoy all the warm hugs that's COVID safe, and, and like pull out sparkly earrings, and, may this be the year that you find all that ambiance extremely satisfying, nourishing, and rewarding. I would say that would be a beautiful way to start preparing for health coaching for the new year or something like that. Absolutely. There's definitely things to start doing now that aren't like, and I don't go cold turkey with anybody. It's never really a good place to start. It's always inch by inch, it's a cinch. Incremental small changes lead to really large results at the end of the day that you're super proud of, but that, you didn't have to jump from 1 to 10, you jumped from 1 to 1.2, and then to 1.3, and then 1 to 2 seemed easier. 1 to 2.1 seemed, that's the best way to sort of like start with beautiful changes, and then and your life and body reward you. So there, I've talked a lot. Okay, thank you so much, Crystal. I appreciate the question and the compliments.
There was a question on the chat that if you could answer from Donna, I think.
If you have a friend who is struggling with their weight, how would you introduce the subject to them? That's excellent. You don't need a new year, you need a new moment. You just need a new moment. Yeah, thank you so much. How would you, so introduce the subject of health coaching, or introduce the subject of nutrition, or introduce how to be healthy during the holidays?
I would say all of the above.
Okay. So you want to be helpful to somebody and sort of say, oh my gosh, here's some great tips, but
without offending them.
Without offending them.
Yes.
Do they want to be healthier? Because that might play a part in it. So if they really don't want to be healthier and they're not ready, I don't know really. I mean, you could, and then they could say that later, there was that time during the holidays that Donna made me think about this thing. I'm not sure. Does anybody have any suggestions about that? How you would?
I think I have a suggestion.
Sure, yeah.
I think sometimes just speaking, like if you start just that dialogue about healthy eating, so say, oh, you know what I heard today is like, if you use lettuce instead of bread for a sandwich, it's so much healthier. I've tried it and I love it. You should try it too. Or kind of make it seem like you're really interested in the topic, but you're sharing your excitement with them, kind of tricks them into it a little bit. Just an idea. I like that
That's awesome.
approach.
You're duping them.
Yeah. I think it also matters how close you are, because if you have a deep relationship, I know with my deep and close friends, I would, you know, I love you. I know that you're struggling with your weight. You know, I don't know if this will be helpful or not, but here's a recording or something of some healthy, and some of them are really funny and fun holiday hacks to get through this season without any regret. Now, I watched it and I thought it was fun. Or the Royal Gazette printed some of these actually in the paper a couple of days ago. I think it was on the, yeah, it was on the 21st. And so there might be some article in the paper, you can sort of hand them a resource or something like that. But I would say, you know, if it was a deep relationship, I would definitely approach it that way. You know, I love you, but I love you. And, you know, if this is helpful, I thought it was helpful because I went to it and I enjoyed it. Yeah, that's an interesting question.
And leading by example as well. You know, showing them some different things that you do that possibly they could incorporate, maybe invite them over for dinner. And you know, I just need you over here to try and taste some of these things, and laying out some recipes that possibly they could follow, because I know what my issue was. Remember, Agatha, I needed some ideas from you of what to cook. You know, I needed to know where to go.
Yeah. Sometimes
So
it's that,
it's that simple.
that simple. Yeah.
It doesn't seem preachy. It's like you're helping me.
Yeah. That's a great one. Yes, definitely by example. There's a new message. So, oh, thank you, Crystal. Oh, it's online now too. Okay, great. So it's the news article is online if anyone would like to share it. There's a link right in there. Yeah, Gina, I love that one. That's really great. Lead by example. And I think that's kind of what Ola was saying too, by saying like, hey, I swapped bread with lettuce and I filled it up and it tasted super delicious and I loved it. And I'm like, wow, I think you might like it too. You know, because that's what people do about everything. Like, have you tried those, whatever they say, cupcakes with the, or have you been to the new bakery? You know, they speak with passion about unhealthy kind of calorie loaded food and whatever. So why can't you do it with like, have you tried swapping bread with some crunchy, juicy lettuces and, filling it up and like you put different condiments and stuff? It tastes super good. I didn't know that bread was so boring until like, again, leading by example. I really like that one. Sharing, okay, gotcha. It is 8 o'clock. So thank you for, somebody has to leave. So, but thank you so much. Okay. So
Bye. Thank you, Agatha.
Thank you. I'm going to finish up with just a little bit of information if you guys would like any more information, and then I will end the recording. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, if you have any questions or comments that you didn't have a chance to say, because sometimes we heard the presentation or we've listened to somebody speak for a while and we don't actually know our questions until tomorrow morning. It like hits you first thing in the morning. Oh, I wish I would have asked that. Just email me. It's the email's on the website. The website is fueledlife.com. I would be more than happy to check your email. This is not my busy season during Christmas time. Nobody wants to see the nutrition coach. I'm kidding. I would love to respond to your email. So if you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know. It's coach@fueledlife.com. Fueled Life, fueled has 2 L's. I can put that actually right here in our chat. Oh, there we go. So that's the website. And my email is there again, coach@fueledlife.com. And we've got an Instagram page and Facebook. And I have a newsletter that's weekly that has a whole bunch of more tips and hacks and all that kind of stuff on it that might be helpful. And that might be something to forward along to a friend. If there's something that I did, like a healthy gift list for the health nut in your life or for somebody who wants to get healthy. So they had like gift ideas and stuff like that. Everything you can buy in Bermuda, you don't have to order from away. And yeah, so all of that was available through my newsletter. You just sign up on the homepage of the website, and that's pretty much it. And thank you so much for joining, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed it. Send me an email, coach@fueledlife.com. If you would like a copy of this recording, I can send you the link. I'd be more than happy to. Okay, thanks so much. I'm going to end the recording now. Here we go.